This is the true story of the Kray brothers, twin mobsters who briefly ruled the London underworld during the 1960s. As the film begins, Reggie Kray is a former boxer who has become an important part of the criminal underground in London. He, along with his brother Ron Kray, run a small crime organization known as the Firm. Ron is locked up in a psychiatric hospital for paranoid schizophrenia as the film begins. Reggie effectively threatens the evaluating physician to provide a favorable evaluation of his brother so that he can be released. The doctor informs Reggie that Ron is dangerous and needs to take his medication to remain under control. Once Ron is released, the brothers work to control a large part of London's criminal underworld. They use extortion and brutal violence to expand their criminal enterprise. They get into a gang war with another London gangster, Charlie Richardson, who leads the South London group called the Torture Gang. Eventually, Scotland Yard takes down Charlie and most of the Torture Gang, allowing the Krays to expand their control even further. Next, we see Frances, the sister of one of Reggie's drivers, Frankie. Reggie picks up Frances for a date on which her mother openly voices her disapproval. He takes her to an East End club that he owns, where he explains he invites celebrities to come to hang out with some of the rough characters from around town. Frances asks if he enjoys being a gangster, and Reggie denies it, saying he's simply a club owner. Sometime later, Reggie takes Frances to meet Ron. Reggie falls in love with Frances. Next, we are introduced to the Krays' lawyer, Leslie Payne, who helps them arrange legitimate business operations to help cover for their illegal activities. Frances is drawn to Reggie despite the warnings of her mother, and the couple is soon involved in a passionate relationship with each other. Frances does not approve of Reggie's criminal involvement, and Reggie continually promises to go legitimate, but he never does. It's at this point that Reggie has to return to prison to finish out a sentence that had been on appeal but was now due to be finished. Reggie is viciously beaten by the guards in prison, but he fights back. Ron tells Frances Reggie doesn't want visitors, but she goes anyway, making Reggie angry. While Reggie is in prison, Ron proceeds to ruin the business at the club because he doesn't want them to have a legitimate business. He wants to be a gangster. The club is almost forced to close due to Ron scaring away all the customers. When Reggie gets out, he proposes to Frances. Reggie is incensed at how Ron has ruined their money-making enterprise and berates him in front of all their business associates. In response, Ron ruthlessly insults Frances, causing Reggie to start a very violent fight. In the end, the brothers appear to patch things up and Reggie gets the gang back on track. The couple eventually marries each other. Ron's mental instability and violent temperament lead to severe financial setbacks at the nightclub as he and his cronies, such as Edward "Mad Teddy" Smith, remake the gang and the business based on their arbitrary whims. The financial setbacks put Ron in conflict with the chief financial officer of the gang, Leslie Payne. Soon after, the brothers are approached by Angelo Bruno, a member of a Philadelphia crime family and a representative of Meyer Lansky, the infamous American gangster. Bruno proposes that they engage in a deal where the parties will split gambling profits equally while the brothers provide local protection. The agreement is highly profitable and further expands their criminal operation. However, the ongoing success of the gang continues to drive a wedge between Reggie and Frances and increases Ron's instability. After the remaining factions of the Torture Gang tried to shake down some of the people under the Krays' protection, Ron walks into a crowded bar and shoots George Cornell dead. The homicide causes Scotland Yard to open a full investigation into the brothers' organization with the sole purpose of taking down the Krays. The leader of the task force is Detective Leonard "Nipper" Reed, who has been trying to arrest the brothers for some time. Reggie's struggles to control his brother cause the gangster to increasingly turn to alcohol. The drinking and stress further exacerbate his marriage difficulties with Frances. On one occasion, a fight between the couple ends with Reggie beating and raping Frances. She decides to leave him, and Ron wishes her well, expressing that he and she are the only two people who truly love Reggie. At the same time, Bruno strongly hints that the American mob would like Reggie to kill his brother due to his increasing instability. Reggie says he cannot due to Ron being his brother. Reggie tries to make things right with Frances. He tracks her down at Frankie's flat and offers to start a new life. He proposes a trip to Ibiza, someplace where Frances has always wanted to holiday. Frances hardly agrees, but then proceeds to take an overdose of pills later in the day, killing herself. Reggie is devastated by his wife's death. Ron hires a petty criminal Jack McVitie to kill Payne for some imagined slight against Ron. McVitie makes an attempt, but Payne can overpower McVitie and survives the assassination with only a gunshot wound to the leg. Payne is approached by Detective Reed while in the hospital and agrees to cooperate with Scotland Yard in exchange for protection for his wife and family. Reggie finds out about the arrangement with McVitie and kills the petty thief after he makes disparaging remarks about Frances. McVitie's murder occurs at a party in front of dozens of guests. When Ron confronts Reggie as to why he would do something so reckless, Reggie tells his brother because he can't kill him. The police arrest Reggie for McVitie's murder, and Payne's information leads to the arrest of Ron for Cornell's murder. The closing captions of the film state that both were convicted of murder. Reggie died after his release from prison from cancer on October 1, 2000, and Ron died in a mental hospital from a heart attack on March 17, 1995.